Good afternoon and welcome to This Old Goat Tarot. My name is Anne. Today in the afternoon, it's about 12:55. This is a career and finance tarot reading for the Capricorn Collective. So if you have any placements or crosswatchers in your astrology chart, this reading is likely for you. When you think about the day, right? Today is March 8th, 2025. So that's a 3, an 8, and a 9. You add all those numbers up, it equals the number 20, and in numerology, you reduce it to a 2. So today's divine numerological number is the number 2. 2s represent harmony. It is a divine feminine number. Harmony, unity, balance, the ability to bring consensus. It's an energy that wants to bring people together. So today there might be some synchronicity in today's reading, or perhaps you may be seeing the number 2 when you're out and about. Take that as a confirmation that there may be a message here for you. And in general, when it comes to today's reading, please listen in. I encourage you to sort of think about what the cards represent for you, what the messages may echo in your own life, and leave what doesn't resonate with you. So I have meditated on my decks already, and I've shuffled them each twice, but I will be opening the reading up with you today with some sage, and then we'll go ahead and get started. With that, thank you for joining. Buckle in, we should be here about 30 to 40 minutes. All right, so welcome to my table. As you can see, I have all of our elements represented today. We have fire, water, we have air. We'll open our reading here with a loud bell shortly. And then we have, of course, amethyst representing our Capricorn collective, which we are an earth sign. And then I also have some selenium for divine protection. I do, however, want to sort of clear any energies from the room. Spirit angels and guides of our highest and best today. Ensure that we only have clarity in the message. We're asking for divine protection. We only want the energies that make the most sense for clarity as the Capricorn collective thinks about and meditates and examines our career and finance energies over the next week or so. All right, so with that, we will be opening this reading with a loud bell, and you'll hear this now. All right. So we will begin with a Mind Info Oracle card, just to give us from Spirit a sense of today's reading, perhaps an overall theme. Like I said, I have shuffled each of these decks at least 2 times, meditated, but I did want to cut the deck in front of you, so we will go ahead and pull the card. So we have presence. All right. You're being asked to spend more time in the present moment, to stop ruminating about the past or longing for the future. Your life is happening right now, and when you're not present for it, you miss all of its beauty. All right, that's interesting. Today is a Saturday, so if you're like me, you have a big family, perhaps there's a lot of chores or to-do lists that might be on your mind. We might already be in our mind on Friday or Thursday if you have kids and it's Spirit Week. It's so often that, when it comes to anxiety, we're thinking about and imagining all of the different possibilities, and to the card's message from Spirit, perhaps we're just, getting lost in the future, getting lost in the past of what it could have, should have. And the present is the opportunity, the potential for the present is often overlooked. So that idea of being called into just being, the space of the difference between, hey, everybody can say, I am a sister, I am a brother, I am a wife, I am a mother, I am a nurse, I am a doctor, whatever that I am, and that space between what the marker of your identity might be. Oftentimes that space, we need to just pause and reflect and just own our power of just being in that I am space, that oneness with Spirit, And, it's good that we do have an ability to identify ourselves, and those are aspects of the self. But when we're thinking about integration and being able to look with compassion in that idea of a harmonious balance of all of those different aspects of ourselves in just the I am, that's what I think Spirit is inviting us to think about today. So perhaps in your career, whatever you may be, or perhaps it is your role as a family member, whatever that looks like for you when we think about career and money, it's important that that's not where the sentence stops, or that's where we end, if you will. If we actually back up a bit and we pause before we say whatever our career is, what that does is it opens us up to so many more potentials. So perhaps there might also be, besides the call from Spirit with this message to just be present in the moment, in the here and in the now, and to just be, there might be also an underlying message here around taking a step back and reflecting upon not just stopping at that one aspect of our identity and thinking about that sentence of the I am, what else we could be and what other potentials might be present for us in the here and the now, without getting sort of encumbered with the how and with the practicality of it. Allow ourselves to jump into the wonder and the imaginative aspect of the moment, and just to be present and to sort of absorb all of the potential and the optimism that may be available to us, but oftentimes overlooked because we're so focused on that other aspect of the I am a fill in the blank, and then all of the, if you will, the trails that lead into our lives that are attached to that one identity. And the risk there, especially being that we are Capricorn, and in the tarot we are represented by the Devil card in the major arcana, there's strings attached to that, right? That we can oftentimes become a little too attached to that identity, and we might lose sight of other potentials, and we may not be able to always have the discernment necessary to cut that which no longer serves us. So it's another thought just to keep in mind, especially as we approach the lunar eclipse later this week. All right, so we'll leave that here for the time being, and we'll go ahead and pull. I do a 3-card spread of recent energies, current energies, and that which may be either advice from Spirit or future potentials. So when I did want to cut the deck with you today, and we will pull the cards together. We did pull the 4 of Pentacles in reverse, recent past. I don't know if you're like me as a Capricorn, 4 of Pentacles can oftentimes be very something that is easily for us to identify with, both in the light aspect and the shadow aspect. We did pull the 10 of Swords in the current energy in the upright position, and in the future potential we have the 9 of Swords, but it was pulled in the reverse. And bottom of the deck today we have Major Arcana 20, Judgment in reverse. Okay, so judgment is typically a new beginning. It's oftentimes, and again, the fact that it is Major Arcana 20, and today's numerology number breaks down to a 20, which then reduces to a 2. There might be some synchronicity associated with that today. And perhaps being associated with the overall presence of today's card about just presence, there might be some sort of stagnant or blocked energy associated with that new beginning. Okay, in the traditional tarot, the Rider-Waite, it is this angel with trumpets, sort of calling people from the dead, if you will, to sort of rise again and to start again, and that undying hope of eternity, of always having a fresh start, of rebirth. And it's represented in this deck here, as you can see, where she's sort of moving on from this sort of physical expression of her reality into this more of a spirit-based light form. And it's in reverse, okay? And where I see that is oftentimes that release, that ability to move into that higher vibration, that ability to think about the future, and to that wondrous spirit without any sort of entrapments around our current identities. We're not able to realize new aspects of ourselves for further expansion unless we begin to start to let go of the existing items to make room for new. And we can do that by just truly being present in the moment. So that's my initial reaction to this message from Spirit here is, and again, I am not here to, there's absolutely no judgment here. I do think that there is a message here for the Capricorn collective. We may always be so focused on climbing that mountain when there perhaps there's a shortcut, or there's a side quest, or there might be some sort of opportunity that we may miss along the way because we are so focused on, taking that next step, when in reality we just need to pause sometimes and be in the moment for ourselves to be able to allow that rebirth and that energy to come through of that new dimension of the self. So again here, this is coming through a little very strong. I am sort of picturing someone, I'm getting this vision of someone walking on this mountain, and their head is down. They don't necessarily see the horizon, if you will, and they're just taking step after step after step. And in doing so, what they're missing is that there's another mountain in the foreground. Or there's another vision in the sky, whether it's a cloud or a rainbow or another beautiful mountain that they're totally missing. They're totally not seeing. It's out of their field of vision because they're only focused down. And that's where I think that if we limit ourselves too often in how we currently identify, then we're missing the possibility of what else we could become. And that's where just being present in the moment and really not just in survival mode, because I do think that we should hold space for the fact that there are times in our life in which we do just have to let go and let God, if you will, allow the universe to take us where it is that we should go, and just to let go and to trust. But there is also, we need to balance that with the ability to look up and enjoy where we are, even for the better or for the worse. So whatever we are doing, taking that neutral stance of imagining ourselves in a bubble. So whatever hardships we may be enduring, whatever joys that we may be experiencing, is to imagine ourselves as a bubble floating above ourselves, and then seeing that horizon and just to be present in that moment and looking down and saying yes, and holding space for that dimension of ourselves that might be going through any hardship or any joy in the moment, and just really truly feeling that from the top of our head to the tips of our toes, but then also to think about it and to take only of that experience which adds value, but not to get stuck there in the past. So it's not just being worrisome about what might come in the future, but about the woulda, coulda, shoulda of the past and having regrets. And so just really staying into this moment of being and responding to any circumstance. It's not about the circumstance, it's about being in the moment and how we respond to the moment that allows us to realize and allows us to move this judgment from the reversal to the foreground, because then we're becoming a new person. essentially, because now we have that new feather in our cap. We've learned something. Our soul has grown and it has expanded, even if it's like a very micro experience, a conversation, with a toddler in a car. And if you're like me, who has little ones, getting in the car, seatbelts, making sure shoes are strapped, making sure everybody's noses are wiped. That can be very trying, but it's just taking a step back and removing ourselves from that situation, holding grace for the challenges that we are experiencing, but then also taking with us the moment. It allows us to just realize something that our field of vision expands tremendously. So I'll get off my soapbox for a moment, but it is just something that I'm feeling very strongly in this reading already. So now we have the Four of Pentacles in reverse and recent, and this sort of echoes maybe almost like this very powerful message around, not really realizing this ability to move forward. And it's funny, one of my flames on this candle just went out as I said that. So take it for what you will, but I do think Spirit is here really sharpening this message for us today. Is that in recent past, this Four of Pentacles to me represents the more shadow side of what this card has to represent. In the upright, I think that there's a dimension here where we have an ego mind, and that ego mind is not a good thing or a bad thing. It is simply a tool, and the ego mind is meant to keep us and allows us to realize this physical reality that we currently exist in. And a part of that expresses itself around, I guess, if you will, it leans on the need for security and stability. And that to me is what the Four of Pentacles is about. Having a plan, knowing when to act, taking sacred action, moving forward, making decisions that serve our highest potential. But when it's in reverse, I think it might be that we're holding on to something a little too tight. Again, it could be that identity of whatever our career might hold in the current. Perhaps Spirit is asking us, to be a little bit more open to what might else come. So we might think of ourselves very tenured in our position if you do have some sort of job, or we have been spending a career of 10, 12, even 20 plus years in some discipline. And it might be a little hard for us to step outside of that comfort zone. So I would love to know, and by the way, if anything that I'm saying is resonating with you, I would love to know. Please leave the comments, click that like button. Also subscribe. I do leave typically 3 to 4 readings a week. The career and finance, I think, is really important to us as Capricorns. But going back to your reading here, I do think that there's something that we'll get some clarity on around the Four of Pentacles. So, Spirit, angels, and guides of our highest and best. Why is the Four of Pentacles here in this reversal position in our recent past? Was there something that we were holding on to a little too tight? Did that cause us some undue burden, undue stress? Woo! I had a flipper here. We have the Seven of Swords. Came out upright. Anything else? I'll take one more message. Spirit, angels, and guides. Why is the Four of Pentacles here in reverse? I just want to keep falling on the floor. We have the Eight of Wands. Not surprised about that Eight of Wands. We've had, if you listen to my last reading for energies for the first part of March, there was a lot of wand energy. So, Seven of Swords is a mixed bag. For me, it's one of the more, mixed bag cards of the entire tarot, right? So, Swords are first an air sign, represents the air in the tarot. And you'll notice here that this guy is sort of like capturing, he's like sneaking away. For some reason, he's kind of like looking back. There's a little bit of a grin, but he is sort of watching his back. So there's and the more of the higher vibration of this card, it's that he's using his, he's being strategic with his resources. And the lower vibration, there could be some level of deception. This Eight of Wands represents typically fast-moving energy, something that had occurred quickly. So maybe there was something that rocked your world in your career where we were in this really, safe zone, this comfort. We felt that, we were kind of coming to work, clocking in, doing what we thought was expected of us. Perhaps we were looking for a promotion, and there might have been something here where, and granted, right now it is bonus season, it is annual review season. Typically in corporate America, it's usually anywhere between January and March, somewhere in the first quarter of around performance that was associated with 2024. Either way, it's a lot of movement. There's a lot of people who opt out and walk away. There's been, as you know, in the United States anyway, there's been mass layoffs. There's been huge labor shifts and job loss, if you will. So there might be something that rocked our world of what we thought we were safe and secure, and all of a sudden our world got turned upside down, and it caused a sense of anxiety, worry, doubt, concern. And because that Four of Pentacles, she's holding on to her purse very tightly, right? Makes, steady and slow wins the race. She has invested wisely, done what she was supposed to do, went to school, paid off her loans or paid on time, and did everything that she thought was supposed to be right to get that sense of security and stability. And, essentially everything that she could control, she controlled. But I think what Spirit is saying is that we can sit here and control as much of our lives as we possibly can, but there is always a factor of the unknown and the need that of the season, especially we are in Pisces season, to just let go of that need of control, the need to because there's always going to be someone else that might be ahead of us for whatever reason in life, quote unquote, and I think that's a value judgment, so maybe that wasn't the right way of putting it, but there may always be someone who was born into wealth or got the better break. We might ended up with the short end of the stick in whatever situation that happened recently that definitely disrupted whatever we thought where we were was comfortable and safe. And I think that this came very fast. We didn't expect it, okay? But the good news is we've kind of come over the other side of this, and where the bridge is, and this is the Ten of Swords. So the Ten of Swords again is and there's a lot of air energy here today. The Ten of Swords is an ending. So you'll notice in this particular deck, instead of swords, it's represented by birds. But she's sitting here on this hill, if you will, looking to the future, looking towards the sunshine. The wind is to her back. And it's done. So whatever hardship we may have endured in our career, or a bad investment, perhaps the value of our home went up or down, we lost an opportunity. If you are a Capricorn, I know that in the astrology there's been a lot of questions around, but a lot of energy associated with moving of your place of primary residence of your home this month. So in that can cause quite a bit of anxiousness, worry, whatever that was. Though it was very fast moving. It was something outside of our control, and it's over. So let's get some additional clarity from the tarot today. Spirit, angels, and guides of our highest and best. Tell us what ended here. I'm getting a strong sense. I'm being told that it has to do with that Four of Pentacles. Something got disrupted that we thought was a sure bet was no longer, quote unquote, a sure bet. Welcome to 2025. Okay, we've got this Queen of Swords in reverse. That's interesting. Anything else, Spirit? I'll take one or two more cards. Highest and best. Why is the Ten of Swords here in reverse? Lots of sword energy today. Ooh, got a flipper. We got the Nine of Wands in reverse. Okay. So I just had another, it was interesting, I had another flame go out just now. So over here we have this Nine of Swords in reverse and the future outcome. I feel better that it's in reverse. So I would be more concerned if it was in the upright position. So there might be some optimism here, but we're coming up onto an ending, and that ending here, if you think about the Queen of Swords in the upright position, she's well suited to cut things out of her life. She has a good air on her head, on her shoulders. She's comfortable making tough decisions from a very practical lens to remove them, that which no longer serves her. But it's in reverse, okay? And we have this Nine of Wands where it's again, fire sign wand in tarot represents of fire. He's sitting here very defensive. So it's in reversal as well, and it came out second. So I do want to get a little bit of clarity because it is in the reversal. Let me just consult my guidebook here briefly around these particular cards. So the Queen in reverse core meeting might be, she might be a little too cold, might be a little too quick to use that sword. I might turn other people off because it happened quickly. So maybe there was someone else in this situation. I'm not getting the sense that this was us. I'm getting the sense that this was someone else involved in this ending here. And then there's that Nine of Wands in reverse as well. And just, if you're new to my channel, a lot of folks, I've listened to a lot of tarot readers. Not everybody does reversals. I do think that it's important to honor the way that the cards come out and to sort of absorb the message, whether it's a reversal, sideways, or upright. So I do want to share, I'm very confident fairly in the uprights, but when it comes to the reversals, that's an area that I am still expanding in myself. So the Nine of Wands in reverse is typically about some sort of failure, their unsteady mental decline. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over but expecting different results. So there might be something that that we planned for that just didn't come to fruition the way that we expected it to. Failure, cruelty, and something associated with this Ten of Swords. So again, I don't think this was you. I think that we may have been involved in a situation that really rocked the boat for us in our career or our money standing, our bank accounts. The stock market is going up and down. It is tax season ongoing. We may not have, maybe we had put some trust into somebody that we shouldn't have, and there was some deception there. It was fast moving energy. And we had to take some sort of action, but this is coming to an end. And the Queen of Swords here is in reverse, and it may appear on the outside that this person was, again, I don't sense it is us. I think it was someone else that took decisive action quickly. And in doing so, it may come across as very cold, as very like callous almost. Because again, in the upright position, it's very smart, decisioning, clarity of mind, very confident in what is being cut out, but in such a way that she almost has admirers because she's able to do so in a way that sort of benefits all, and there's some sort of consensus that it is benefiting everyone around the ability to wield the sword where it makes sense in her reign. But the fact that it's in reverse, she can come across as very icy cold. And so there might be someone else who jumped in to support us. And this Nine of Wands here in the reversal position, again, he's kind of sitting there. It looks like something happened with his head too. You'll notice that there is like that bandage. It's in reverse. And the guidebook is saying that in the reversal position, the message here is mental decline, unsteady, unstructured, failure. When it comes to career and money, some seeds planted failed. It's telling us to keep planting. There's unsteady footing in the career, and your attitude equals your performance. So maybe this is a boss. Maybe this is some sort of management, somebody who has, there's a hierarchy involved, and this person, took action. I don't think that they are the same person as this Seven of Swords. There was some deception, but either way, we felt that it was unfair. We felt that it didn't make sense. I do sense, though, that this was coming from a good place. We just can't see it necessarily quite yet. And the situation that causes this anxiety is coming to an end. It's over. It's time to move forward is what I'm hearing from the spirit. But we might be caught here. This is where I think we are. I think we might be caught here still teetering between, and this is again where the presence message comes into play. Yeah, this is actually coming really, really clear now. So the spirit's telling us we have to stay present. We can't stay stuck in this past of this, whatever happened to us. It's easy to get trapped in victim-based energy. And so, whatever happened to us, let's acknowledge that we may have got the short end of the stick. The folks involved, the powers that be, for whatever reason, did not rule in our favor necessarily. And it felt like very cold, very icy. And it left us here deeply wounded in some sort of mental way. We feel like we're a failure. We're starting to second guess ourselves. And that's where I think Spirit is saying, be present. We can't learn from this. We can't get true judgment to move forward if we're going to continue to be stuck again in victim-based energy here about quote unquote being a failure. So now we're starting to believe these self-limiting beliefs, I think. I wouldn't be surprised if I was to pull an Eight of Swords here as well. Let's get more clarity here, because we have the Nine of Swords here, but it's in reverse. And let me just take a look at the guidebook here. Again, it's in reverse, so I'm building my confidence. This is an area I am expanding on. Hopefully you are today too. So the Nine of Swords in reverse. And here we have a little bit of synchronicity. We have the Ten of Swords and the Nine of Swords. Ten of Swords upright, the Nine of Swords in reverse. So maybe there was a near miss here as well. Again, this is the future or potential-based outcome. The Shadow Seer is typically about paranoia, deeply anchored to fears, and the ability to think clearly. But in the Light Seer, there might be some depression, worrying, but also the opportunity to find courage, a time to focus on safety and the things that are going well in our life. So maybe, like I said, we are, again, this victim mentality where, it can really impact our ability to stay present as well. If we continue to stay in those low vibrational thought patterns of dwelling on what had occurred and the quote unquote, the wrong, how we had been wronged in some capacity. And because of that, it's creating a block. It's creating this confusion, right? And again, there's an opportunity to take something away. What I like about this card, though, is notice how there's this white bird here. So there's all these birds. The mind is very confused right now, but yet there's like still this shining hope. And it is in reverse. It's similar to this Judgment card where it's this opportunity for rebirth. So there's a lesson here that we need to take away, is really what I'm getting. Even though, we can continue to dwell in the fact that there was a loss, there was something that was taken away from us, there was some sort of deception, it wasn't ruled in our favor, but it's done. The Spirit is saying it is absolutely over. This Ten of Swords is in the upright position. She has the capacity to look forward, but instead she's still behind. Maybe this is a warning, because this is future outcome. That it's a warning for us. Why do we have the Nine of Swords here in reverse? One or two cards can provide some clarity here. Whoa, got another flyer. Ooh. We've got the Nine of Pentacles in the upright. Okay, so there's some synchronicity here too. We have the Nine of Wands, the Nine of Pentacles, and the Nine of Swords. Why do we have the Nine of Swords here in reverse? Nines represent sort of final chapters. We are in a 9-year. One or two more cards, Spirit. Can we get a little bit more clarity as to why this Nine of Swords in the future outcome or advice? Is this a warning? Is this a potential outcome? I really like to introduce the opportunity for Spirit. I try and do this as random as possible. And then we have the Ten of Wands. Came out in the upright position. So, okay. Here we are. We've been on this journey. Something didn't go well. It happened very quickly to us. It hurt us in some capacity. There was some sort of deception involved. And it came to an end. It came to an end because someone in some sort of power position, perhaps it is a female boss, perhaps there's another female in your life, but either way, whatever happened here didn't rule in necessarily our favor, but it ended it for us. Whatever nightmare, whatever, bad situation, it came to a close. Okay. And we were left still feeling left out and confused and hurt. And now we're starting to second guess ourselves, especially if you think about the career situation. We may have been unfairly judged. Okay. And that might be, again, we have this judgment in reverse. But looking forward, this Nine of Swords in the reversal here. And we do, again, have the 10 and the 9. I think what Spirit's saying is we don't want to go backwards, okay? We don't need to open this old wound up and to stay here because this Nine of Wands is keeping us here. This energy that and again, Wands typically represent fire, our passion, our purpose. And in the upright, he's defending it in some capacity here. In the reversal, we might start to second guess ourselves. Okay, we might be taking, that review that we got with some questionable judgment. We might be taking it a little too seriously, and now it's starting to creep into our mind, and it becomes uncertainty. It becomes self-doubt. And I think Spirit is saying we can't stay lingering there in that confusion, right? In the guidebook, the Nine of Swords, I just want to get one more clarity from the traditional Rider-Waite of what that means in reversal. The Nine of Swords in reverse. Thank you for your patience. In reverse, it's spirituality, revelation, perception, and fantasy. Okay, well that's actually a good thing. Maybe it's, whatever. We don't want to go backwards, but whatever it was is coming. Like I said, it's over. The situation is over. But whatever was keeping us up in those sleepless nights is coming to a close. And I think by us walking away from this Nine of Wands energy of questioning ourselves and just being lost in confusion and, taking that critique, owning it a little too closely and then, absorbing that into our core identity. I think what Spirit is saying is that we have this choice point. Again, that separation between the I am and then whatever. So if you get something on like a review, okay, or perhaps your returns, you ended up taking a loss for 2024 rather, for your investments, okay, we can obviously start to fill in the gap and we can be clouded by self-judgment. So again, if the review says, I am a poor communicator, or I have this opportunity to, I am not good with balancing my priorities or time management. What we're doing is we're taking someone else, we're sort of disempowering ourselves, where we're giving someone else our own power. We're relinquishing it to someone else. So if someone writes a review about ourselves, instead of us being like, you know what? Okay, I can learn from this, but that's not who I am. I know who I am, right? And I think that's so important. I've been there, trust me. Corporate America can eat you up and spit you out. And I've had a lot of sleepless nights. In the traditional tarot, the Nine of Swords is this woman like in bed, up at night, she can't sleep, is constantly replaying the situation over and over. And we know it's not ourselves because there was some sort of deception here that occurred in the past that led to an outcome, but for some reason we got blamed for it. And it's translated as we were the ones left holding the bag, and it became some sort of, it translated to something we aren't, okay? We are, bad with time management, or we are bad with our money. We are poor investors. And that's where I think that we need to just stop adding something to the I am and allowing spirit to fill in the blanks for us. And that's where we have this Nine of Pentacles. This is how we get to our garden. Remember, the Nine of Pentacles has come through in almost every reading, I will say, that I've done in the last 5 readings for Capricorns. It is the end of a journey of the Pentacles, okay? And Pentacles is the earth sign. There's so much to be learned. This is, yes, we are Capricorn, so this should be our favorite suit, okay? But the 9 is an integration. It is the ability to take all what we've learned, and I've said this over and over in almost every one of my readings. It's the opportunity to take all that we've learned from the 1 to the 9 of all of these cards and putting them back together and to integrate it into our life. So what Spirit is saying is that we can get to this potential. We can get to this opportunity of this ability to let go, this oneness, the ability to really lean into spirituality, about the ability to just trust in our inner knowing of who we are. It doesn't matter who we are. It doesn't matter what says on a little piece of paper, whether it's a marriage certificate that we did 10 years from now that we no longer identify with. It could be a driver's license that does not show who our true identity is anymore, right? It could be a review that didn't go so well. We need to learn that we can't get stuck on those very stagnant energies of what one tiny aspect of ourselves truly is. And by just leaning in and being able to hold that and to integrate all of those identities into our overall self, that makes us the magical, interdimensional, multi-dimensional people that we truly are. So to get to this garden, I think Spirit is saying, let's not get stuck in the fact that in the here and now, yeah, we were cheated out, we got the short end of the stick, we got the raw end of the deal. It might feel that way financially for a little bit, or perhaps, our reputation, quote unquote, on LinkedIn isn't really working out too well for us right now. That's not who we truly are, okay? We need to know thyself. And so that 10 of Swords is here for the taking. We are in that moment. Let's be present for that. Let's be present for that moment, to take it, to say, I wonder, and then let us fill in the blank of I wonder what if. I've reminded myself of Sesame Street. There's this bit that they do. It's just I wonder, what if? Let's try. So if you're a mom, you might identify with that. But that concept of just wondering and imagining and staying in that state of energy for a little bit at the higher vibration. And so let's let things into our lives that is higher vibration. Let's not get stuck in lower vibration and bring ourselves down into a spiral of lower and lower energies, because then we start to take that on. And then we're starting to believe that one little questionable line in a review that truly wasn't us. Or we start to back through about, I'm gonna fall off the wagon when it comes to these investments this year, because I don't know, I don't trust myself. I think it's an opportunity for us to choose. Do we want to get back on that horse, or do we want to take the learnings and move on to something else? But if we don't, then we're going to continue to carry this, and that road up the mountain, we'll get there, but it's going to be extremely exhausting. And we're just gonna, again, this guy's head is focused low. And remember that vision I had at the beginning of this reading, where it's like somebody walking up a mountain, your head is just low. It's like, oh, I'm going uphill. It's such a burden, but I just know I need to keep going. Because Capricorns, we'll continue to go. Nobody's gonna stop us. But the issue is, the Spirit is saying that if we don't lift our head up and just see life for what it truly is, while we're taking every step and just taking the next step without any sort of expectation of an outcome, and just trusting that it's all going to work out, it's all going to be okay. So please, I think what Spirit is really saying is give yourself grace, okay? Be present this weekend. Start to do something that gives us an opportunity to imagine, do something fun, be in the moment. And also at the same time, when we're talking about this justice, let's bring this to an upright position, right? We all have this ability inside of ourselves to not judge ourselves. Let's think about who else we might become that's just waiting to pop forth, that we don't recognize yet because we haven't allowed them to come through, because we're so stuck on who we didn't become in the past, because we're so focused on an outcome, okay? So with that, I think I'll leave it here. Some heavy messages, but I really think that this was powerful. It was powerful for myself. So as a fellow Capricorn. Again, let me know what you think. If you liked this, please hit that like button, hit subscribe. I would love to have you. I'm trying to grow this community. I do have 1 subscriber, so if you are that subscriber, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I'm wishing the Capricorn Collective nothing but love and light. And with that, have a great weekend, everybody.